And we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:35 p.m. It is the usual kickoff time, the 20th of March. It is also the month of March, as I've said various times this month, absolutely flying by. And today, as always, we'll take a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press here in Spain, what the press is talking about, of course. We'll go into the comment section, check out what has been left there, some of the comments left by viewers in recent times, their thoughts, their queries, and we'll go into the live chat around the 20-minute mark of this evening's live stream and say hello to the people in the chat section. So if you are watching, say hello, say hello. Now, we'll get straight into the news, and the big news today that broke later this afternoon, it is that the European Union has delayed the first round of tariffs to deliver a well-calibrated response to the US. 26 billion euros in tariffs to be in effect by mid-April, they say. The European Union has delayed its first round of tariffs on the US by 2 weeks, aiming to align them with a second phase of measures. As a result, 26 billion euros in tariffs will be fully implemented by mid-April. The European Commission justifies this decision by stating that it ensures a strong yet balanced response to US trade policies while minimizing negative effects on EU businesses and consumers. The delay allows additional time to refine the measures, as the planned tariffs are extensions of those imposed during Trump's previous administration, some of which may no longer suit the current economic climate. The Commission is using this period to consult EU member states and adjust policies accordingly. However, discussions with the US administration appear to be largely symbolic, as Trump shows no signs of backing down from his trade war. And it is the trade war that has a lot of people in the European Union worried. These tariffs that are going to be put on European goods imported into the United States, exported here from Spain. Some of the manufacturers of the most important Spanish exports, for example, wines, oils, and things like that, worried that their business will significantly drop with these tariffs put on them, because as we know, the consumers will be saying, no, I'm not going to pay extra for olive oil. I'll prefer to buy something locally if that product is available there, and of course Spanish wines and things like that as well. And we saw last week that the European Union, or Spain in particular, thinking of putting tariffs on products, as we saw bourbon, for example, Harley Davidson's, and Levi Strauss jeans. So that's where we are at the moment, mid-April, according to estimations by the European Union. So buy up before then if you are still buying US products, that is. Second piece of news here, and the leading story today, is that the food waste law has been approved. Restaurants are to provide takeaway containers. Supermarkets are to sell ugly products. Spain has passed the food waste prevention law, making it compulsory for restaurants to offer takeaway containers for leftovers, supermarkets to donate surplus food, and food businesses to implement waste reduction plans. The aim is to reduce food waste, which amounted to 1.214 million tons in Spain in 2023, and tackle the global issue where 30% of all food produced is discarded each year. Industry experts consider this a pioneering law in Europe, harmonizing regulations to prevent unnecessary waste. The legalization addresses three key objectives: social, ensuring food is not wasted; environmental, minimizing the impact of wasted resources like water and energy; and economic, reducing inefficiency in food production. While some regions, such as Catalonia, already have similar regulations, this national law marks an important step in tackling food waste across Spain, and 1,214 million tons, as we can see there. So a lot going on as far as the food waste law is concerned. Restaurants obliged to provide takeaway containers, apparently for free, but if they are plastic containers, they will have to incur the plastic tax, where you will be charged around 1 or 2 cents, I believe, for those plastic containers, unlike now, where some places will charge you up to 50 cents or even €1 for taking your food home. But now, with this law passed, they have to provide those containers for free. However, with that plastic tax, if they are plastic containers, of course, on it of around that 1 or 2 cent mark, I believe, or at least that's what I have read people pay for this tax. So yeah, and supermarkets also to have ugly food, as we saw there. What do they mean by that? Well, I imagine it's the unattractive looking fruit and veg that consumers often reject because they want the perfect looking apples, the perfect looking oranges, the perfect looking pears, and the other stuff doesn't even make the supermarket shelves. So that is what we are dealing with currently, and the objective is to avoid so much food waste. Third piece of news here now, and as we can see, there are houses for sale in Spain despite being squatted. Access to housing in Spain has become increasingly difficult, yet the real estate market remains highly active. In January, home sales surged by 11% year on year, reaching 60,650 transactions, the highest figure for January since 2008, according to the National Statistics Institute. However, many of these transactions involve complex situations. A new report by Idealista, Spain's leading real estate platform, reveals that 20,464 properties listed for sale are occupied by squatters, representing 2.6% of the total housing supply. This issue, previously rare, is now on the rise. In some areas, such as Girona, occupied properties account for nearly 10% of the listings. The study only includes properties where sellers explicitly disclose the situation, meaning the real number could even be higher. Or could be even higher. The data, updated through late 2024, highlights the growing impact of illegal occupation on the housing market. So that is the reality here in Spain. Occupied houses, squatted houses, if you like. The owners are fed up. They can't get the squatters out and prefer to put the properties on the real estate market, sometimes telling people that there are squatters inside and it's their problem to get them out if you want to take possession of that property, or you just don't tell people at all, and they see a cheap price, do the transaction, and then, of course, they realize that squatters inside. And as we know, not easy getting squatters out sometimes here in Spain. Catalonia especially. Catalonia, one of the big trouble areas as far as squatting is concerned, and the province of Girona mentioned there as 10% of the listings on Idealista. They or the biggest real estate portal here in Spain show. So 10% of properties there. So if you're looking to buy property in Spain and you see a bargain, or a chollo, as they're called here in Spain, menudo chollo de casa, be careful, because it might have people inside when you buy it, and you might not be able to get them out. So buyer beware, as I always say. And the final piece of news today, and the Dunce of the Week award, goes to a person who was caught in the area of Navarra in the north of Spain, driving with 799 marijuana plants in his car the wrong way down the highway. A 33-year-old man was arrested in Navarra after driving in the wrong direction on the AP15 motorway while transporting the 799 marijuana plants. Officers from the Guardia Civil's Citizen Security Unit stopped the vehicle at kilometre 2 of the AP15 in Corella after detecting that it was driving against traffic, posing a serious risk to road safety. Upon inspecting the car, they found 11 sealed cardboard boxes containing nearly 800 cannabis plants. The suspect initially pulled over on the hard shoulder before reversing and driving against traffic for about a kilometre. Given the dangerous situation, the patrol intercepted the vehicle and arrested the driver, who was the only occupant. He now faces charges for both endangering road safety and drug trafficking. So as I said, clown of the week, dunce of the week, the man arrested for driving the wrong way down the motorway with 799 marijuana plants in his car. And let's have a look at the vehicle in question and those marijuana plants. The red Kia is the vehicle in question, and the plants nicely tucked away there in boxes to avoid suspicion. But of course, when you've got the civil guard on your tail because you're driving erratically, you've got a bit of a problem, right? And no doubt that man will face the justice system shortly. Now let's have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel recently by viewers. Some interesting comments have been left, I will say. This one here by P. Sidbury. I think your political analogy, re Sanchez Puigdemont, is spot on. Thanks, Stu. Thanks, P. Sidbury. Some people would agree with you that my political analysis is spot on. Other people will say that I'm way off the mark. It depends, I suppose, on your political leanings, your political viewpoint. If you are a fan of Mr. Puigdemont, you're probably jumping up and down, clapping your hands, celebrating. But the rest of the population here in Spain, or at least the people that I speak to on a daily basis, don't find these things particularly amusing when it comes to all of the deals that are being brokered with Mr. Puigdemont's support for his 7 seats in the Spanish Parliament. I'll repeat that, 7 seats in the Spanish Parliament. Government bending over backwards for those 7 seats. So thanks for the comment, P. Sidbury. Another one here from Dimitri. When it rains in Spain, the sun shines in Ireland. Thanks for the comment. Yes, it has been raining quite a lot here in Spain over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Possibly the sun has been shining in Ireland during that time. The bad news for the Irish is that soon the sun will come out here in Spain and it won't rain for the next 7 or 8 months. And we can't really say that about Ireland, can we? So enjoy the brief window of sunshine that you get on the Emerald Isle, as they call it, and be careful. Slip, slop, slap. You don't want to get too sunburnt if you are out in the midday sun. Another one here from Jim. We're due to arrive in Malaga next Tuesday. Our house is on the coast, not far from Fuengirola, so we have our fingers crossed that, unlike a few years ago, we've had no leaks. Thanks, Jim, for the comment. It has been very, very wet in recent times, as we know. And lots of people, I'm sure, are in the same situation as yourself. They're worried about their properties, whether they have withstood the heavy rains when it comes to leaks and things like that. As we know, parts of Andalusia, I think that's what was mentioned there. Malaga, yep, it has been raining very, very heavily. Some parts yes, some parts no. Rivers have broken their banks, not only in the south of Spain, but also here in Madrid. Madrid's famous river, the Manzanares, on par with the Seine or the Thames in London, broken some of its banks on its way down through Madrid. So the motorways have been flooded in some areas. So, heavy rains. But hopefully, when you get to Malaga there, this person here, Jim, you'll find your house in tip-top condition with no problems. Another comment here, an interesting one. We just saw a brief glimpse, one from Cliffy. Cliff, gosh, you're boring. Thanks, Cliff, for the lovely comment. I replied to you in the comment section, but I didn't get a reply. And basically, I imagine that one of the reasons is that after 6 p.m, maybe it's past your bedtime, because if your grammar is anything to go by there, 6-year-old grammar or 7-year-old probably knows how to spell the word you're in that sentence. And I'll just point it out there, gosh, you're boring. I think it should be you are boring, Cliff, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. But like I said, maybe past your bedtime, not watching the video currently, because with 8-year-old, 9-year-old grammar, you better go to bed, my friend. So thanks, Cliffy, for the lovely comment. Gosh, you're boring. And my advice to you is learn how to spell before you criticize people, and work on your grammar a little bit, Cliffy. That would be my suggestion to you, my friend. Another one here from Al. I think this is. Mate, just because you live in Madrid, you seem to think that's how Castellano must be pronounced. Madrileños are merely one group of those living in Spain, and if I may say, they're the least representative. Valencia, Barcelona are how those in the northeast pronounce their cities. In Andalusia, the Canaries, and not to mention Latin America, everyone pronounces it as seen. Enough of the Madrileño arrogance, please. Thanks, Al, for that lovely comment also. Enough of the Madrileño arrogance by pronouncing Barcelona as Barcelona, which the majority of people in this country, Al, I think that is, Al, the majority of people do. Because Castellano Spanish is the majority language in this country. People like yourself might not realize this if you're living in a village in Valencia or maybe in some mountain retreat in Catalonia where the locals only speak a minority language like Valencian or Catalan. Maybe that's your situation, and you hear them saying Barcelona or Valencia. But when they speak Spanish, because the majority of people in Catalonia, believe it or not, speak Spanish, Castellano Spanish, and the majority of people in Valencia also speak that language as well, okay? So it's Barcelona and Valencia, all right? Valencia and Barcelona in the majority of places here in Spain. Andalusia, maybe not. I'll give that to you. The Canary Islands, maybe not. But again, minority places in this country, the majority of people speak with the th sound. Th. Barcelona. Thanks, Al, for the waste of time comment. Another one here from TX Box. I have friends that live in Benavis. I was calling it Benahavis. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, this is one of the trickier names to pronounce here in Spain. Benavis, I think it is, because there's an accent on the I there. Benavis, I think, is how it's pronounced. But of course, you wouldn't expect many foreigners to be able to get their tongue around that tricky word there. Benavis, because the H isn't pronounced. So, and there's also an accent on the I believe. The place in Malaga. Benavis is the name. And the final one here from Andy in Spain. Hi, Stuart. The worst pronunciation I heard was the other day from an English guy on YouTube. His pronunciation of Malaga, I feel embarrassed to say I am English after hearing this. We live in Rojales near to Torrevieja, another name everyone pronounces wrongly. Thanks, Andy. Yep. Malaga, we know, I think I mentioned this in the video yesterday, that in Perth there's a suburb, an industrial suburb called Malaga, spelled exactly the same way. But of course here in Spain the accent as that little thing on top of the A means that you have to stress that particular vowel. Malaga is how it's pronounced. And Rojales, I imagine, is Rojales or something. And of course the other one, Torrevieja. I see YouTubers all the time, people that live here in Spain, pronouncing these places horribly. And they're living there. What can we do? What can we do, unfortunately? But it is what it is. Not everyone can get their tongue around these difficult words, but it's not that difficult. Rojales, Torrevieja. Now we're going to go into the live chat in just a moment. Before I do, I have to change the backdrop picture. This photo was sent in by Philip, and it's a picture of... the picture of San Sebastian up there in the Basque Country, taken from the castle up on top of the hill, I believe. I can't remember what the name of the castle is, but a fantastic shot by Philip of the city of San Sebastian. And we can see the lovely urban landscape there with the Ferris wheel in the bottom part of the picture there. So a lovely shot, Philip. Thanks for sending it through. If you've got a similar picture you would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is this one here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send those pictures through, as Philip has done, and if they meet the characteristics as this photo has done, it will make the backdrop. Still, people sending me photos in the Instagram size. What I mean by that is that I'll just keep that on the screen. Just give me 1 minute. What I mean by that is that the images are the they're taller than they are wide. But here for the backdrop, I need the wider than they are tall, if that makes sense. So do us a favor, if you can, landscape size. Can't remember the exact measurement, 16:9 I think it is, rather than 9:16, which is the Instagram photo size, or 4.4 to 3 I think will also do for the backdrop here. So thanks guys for sending those photos through, and lots of photos have been coming through in recent times. Thank you very much for sending them through. Like icon's on the screen as well. If you haven't hit it yet, we're currently at 71. Do us a favor, hit that like button. If you can, just below the video you will find it. If you're watching on a TV, as many people are nowadays, you'll have to go into the menu on the YouTube setting, but you'll find it there, the like button. So do us a favor and smash it, please. For people that have supported the channel in recent times, a big shout out for the supporters of the channel, whether it be the super thanks option here on YouTube, the super chat option as well during the live streams, people that have bought me a coffee, in recent times. John has just bought me a coffee. I think it came through. And some people the other day, I can't remember exactly. I'll see if I can find the names, because I would like to say thanks to everybody who buys me a coffee. Let me see if I can find it here just quickly as I scroll through here. Andy and James, thank you very much for that, guys, as well. Your coffees that you bought the other day, thank you very much. And also to the Patreon, the longer term supporters, thank you for that continued support. And the YouTube channel members, new members have come on board in recent times. Larry has joined, Victoria the other day joined as well as channel members, starting at 99 cents a month. So if you want to support the channel, those are the options. Thank you very much for that. Now, into the live chat I'm going to go. Let me see if I can open it up here. There we go. I'll just move my microphone a little bit so people can see my mouth moving. Let's have a look here. Let me scroll up to the top. Plenty of activity in the chat, I will say. Andrew, the first person that I can see. Buenas tardes, Stuart and all. I think we had our summer today here in London. Warm and sunny all day long. Hope it isn't the only warm and sunny day that you get in coming months. Andrew, I hope the UK has a great summer. I hope it does. John, hi folks. I know it's early, but I might not get another chance to say hello. Currently in Palma de Mallorca and headed to Barcelona tomorrow and on to Madrid on EEO. I hear we are in for rain. True, John, that is true. There is another one of these storms over Spain at the moment. Borrasca, as they're called. Quite heavy rain has been falling in parts of the country as well. Seems to be a continuous amount of storms hitting the country over the last few weeks, and no end in sight, I don't think, until mid next week. That is when the sun will start to shine again, I believe. And there's even stories in the paper talking about how depressed a lot of Spaniards are with the 3 weeks of cloud and rain. So if the sun doesn't start shining soon, I don't know what people are going to do. I don't know what they're going to do, because they're not used to that type of weather. Andrew again saying here that he's been watching the TV coverage of the rising water levels and the floods. Do hope everyone manages to stay safe. That's the issue, Andrew, the rising rivers and the flooding, of course. Barbara, valued member 2, coming in from the Playa Flamenca, just returned from the Valencia Fallas, which despite the bad weather was a great event, better than I expected. Thanks, Barbara, for that. James and Kathy coming in from a beautiful, warm and sunny Worcester, 19 to 20 degrees Celsius. So nice day out in Stratford on Avon. And lovely mussels and fries for lunch. There we go, mussels and fries. Andrew coming in from Amarinha, up there in the north of the country, the northwest of the country, looking okay for the weekend, is Galicia. The storm's obviously passing over there before they hit the rest of the country. Sani is another person I can see in the chat here. Another warm day there in Basingstoke. There we go. Richard, a valued member. Haven't seen Richard for a while. Hoping everyone is well. Coming in from North Yorkshire. Last few days have been frosty. a frosty start, then nice sunny days. Able to catch the live streams. Not able to catch the live stream, sorry, at the moment, but always catch up. Thanks, Richard, for that. High Flyer John is another person I can see in the chat. Hope the week is going well. Best wishes from a warm and sunny Essex, UK. Al, valued member. Uncle Al, Tio Al at Miramar Marine Corps Air Station, getting new IDs. Warm and sunny. See you next time. Thanks, Al, for that. Good to see you checking in, even though you can't be with us tonight. Chrissy coming in. A dry day. Rain tonight? Question mark. Most likely, Chrissy. Most likely with the new storm overhead. Amanda coming in from a sunny but chilly Shropshire there in the UK also. Erica, today being my birthday. Happy birthday, Erica, and having people at home. Won't be able to join the live stream, but we'll watch later. Terrassa is still wet and damp. It seems that it will continue raining this weekend. Erica sent me an email earlier with an article about the dam levels there, which I think is looking promising. I just had a brief look at the article, but I think that was the general gist. Brad's in the chat too. No cooking tonight, so we'll be contributing. Thanks, Brad. A thumbs up. Suzanne Andy, valued member. Hi, Stu. Usually having dinner with husband and can't watch the lives, but this week he's in Chile. So hello from Germany. Thanks for that. Good to see you tuning in. Always good to see the valued members in the chat, of course. Janet is another valued member. Glorious day in Oxford, 19 degrees Celsius there. Wowee. Take advantage of that weather, guys. YouTubers. Spanish court rules cutting off electricity in squatted houses is not illegal. In effect in Barcelona immediately. Hopefully soon in entire Spain. Thanks for that, if that is the case, of course. Ad coming in from a rainy Seville, still waiting to continue the bike trip, maybe next week. Not good to be on the bike at the moment. We saw a cyclist went missing the other day in Seville, I think it was. Decided to head out on the bike despite the warnings of floods and things like that. And not sure if that person has been found. Up sticks to Spain, high from a dry Malaga. Rain predicted today but didn't materialise. Great show as always. Thanks for that, Up Sticks, who also has a YouTube channel offering advice about moving to Spain. Check that channel out, of course. Harley Davidson says, Brad, no great loss. The news was that they are heading for oblivion for making rubbish motorcycles anyway. There we go. That'll stir up the Harley Davidson fans out there. Janet was in Trujillo last October. The food portions were huge and we left a lot. I was horrified to think it would be thrown away. Well, now you can take it home, Janet, if you want to continue with your Spanish food in the evening for leftovers. You can do that now. You could do it before, but as I said, it wasn't a law until today. Kim saying that the food waste measure is a great move. There is too much of it. That's what it's all about. One particular restaurant, says Janet. Yeah, one particular restaurant. Eddie's here as well. The countdown starts. 6 weeks to go before coming back to Spain, I imagine. That's what Eddie means. What else? Let's have a look here. El Conquistador, late to the live stream. Hola niños, from a windy Pontevedra Beach, Florida. Pontevedra. In Spain, the word is spelt with altogether with one word, Pontevedra, the capital of the province with the same name up there in Galicia. But they're two words. Interesting. Pontevedra. There's also a place in Portugal called Pontevedra as well, I think. I know. It's not called Pontevedra. It's called Porto Novo. What else? Andy paid $3,000 to get the squatters out. I think that's what Andy's referring to there. What else? Stephen coming in from North London. Balmy 19. Very spring-like today. Short-lived because rain's on the way. There we go. Rain is on the way. Mike coming in from Vermilion, Canada. I finally get that name right. Vermilion. 6 above 0 there today. Changes a lot. Alex saying the drug run was sponsored by Kia, the red Kia, spotted on the highway with those plants in the back of the car, of course. Interesting. What else we got going on? It's called dope for a reason, says another Alex. Thanks for that. Dope for a reason. First day of spring, says Johnny. Happy first day of spring for all. Yeah, you wouldn't know it's the first day of spring if you looked out the window, apart from a few flowers on certain trees and bushes. What else? Let's have a look. If you're going to be rolling dirty, you need to obey the traffic laws. Maybe he was getting high off his own supply. Don't know whether you'd get much of a high off those little plants that he had in the car, but I'm sure he had a decent stash somewhere as well, and decided to take the risk, not thinking that he would get caught by the Guardia Civil, as they're called. Guardia Civil, not civil. Joan coming in from, I think the States Joan comes in from, not sure. Great to catch the live. Looks like Madrid is having a thunderstorm right now, lots of wind. Yeah, I think that's the forecast, Joan. Going to be quite windy. I heard the mountains close to Madrid were going to be quite windy, even though I was in that part of Madrid today. It didn't seem too windy, but wind is on the way, apparently. Stephen saying that squatters well settled over a year now on the vacant maison on our urbanización. Used to be the hub of the community until it became vacant. Now we can't even try to use desocupas because the bank has control. There we go. So the problem in Torrevieja there. Suzanne saying that it was sunny in Berlin today. Also booked a weekend to Costa Nova in Portugal in May. So it was good for the pup and I both. Thanks for that. Bethany, hi everyone. Good to see you, Bethany. I don't think we've seen Bethany before in the chat. Good to see new people in the chat, of course. Carrie, laughing at Cliff not being able to write. Well, it's a fairly common mistake, let's be honest, Carrie. Lots of people confuse the determiner your, like your car or your house, with you are, which is a subject and a verb, of course. A lot of people confuse it because of the abbreviation, right? You're silly, you are silly, or your car, same pronunciation, hence the confusion. It's like it's and its, right? It's and it is. Very similar, and lots of people make a mistake. So what can we do? But as I said, a fairly simple error. And you've got to be careful when you do criticize people to make sure that you at least get it right, so you don't make yourself look a little bit silly, for lack of a stronger word. What else we got going on? Teddy's saying nobody's ever erected a statue for a critic. Ignore the fools. Great show. Thanks, Teddy, for that. Lots of people can't spell or have good grammar. That is true, Chrissy, as I just said. Hear it all the time. I mean, but, when you're trying to, criticize somebody, you got to be spot on with these things. Otherwise, you make yourself an easy target. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Mick's just back from Barcelona. Had some great food. Pescadito en La Plata. Morcilla in La Cova Fumada. Foie gras in Quimet. Rabbit. Conejo in Can Bilaro. And callos and octopus. There we go. So Mick enjoying the local cuisine. Soon to be back in Madrid, correspondent Dave, currently in Florida, but soon to be back in Madrid, I believe. Looking forward to returning in a week. There we go. I was right. Back soon will Dave be. What else we got going on here? Land Bright, getting a bit uppity. Yeah, just with comments like that, saying that a few people said it, that they're on Barcelona, they say Barcelona. Maybe in the local language Catalan, which nobody outside Catalonia speaks, because even in Valencia they say that they speak Valenciano, and in the Balearics they say they have their own language there as well. So Catalan, technically only spoken in the area of Catalonia, which is only a very small part of Spain. And as I said, the rest of the population has no interest in any way, shape or form of learning Catalan. It is what it is. I mean, it's the way it is. And there is a central Spain bias. I live in the center of Spain, of course. I live in the capital city of the country. There's always going to be a bias. Go to any country in the world and you'll see a bias in one place or another, whether it be London in the United Kingdom, whether it be Dublin in Ireland, Paris in France, etc. You get the drift, right? Now, what else we got going on here? A Spanish teacher taught me V is a B. Absolutely, Chrissy. I had someone else saying today, no, in Spanish, the V is different from the B. No, it's not. No, it's not. You go to the Royal Academy of the Spanish Language and they say that there's no difference between the V and the B on mainland Spain. Maybe there's a part of the country, maybe. But people don't differentiate between the V and the B. Vaca de coche, vaca el animal. It's the same. It's the same. But people love to write things in the comment section. You're wrong. We distinguish between the V and the B in Spanish. Maybe in one part of the Spanish-speaking world they do. But here in Spain, where we are, they do not. But anyway. Alex saying, yeah, that's true. The dumbest comment of the year. We're only in March. I'm looking forward to the rest if they start to come through, Alex. I've had a few in recent times by people. So maybe it's got something to do with what's happening in other parts of the world. They're just copying what they see. The V is a strong B here in Andalusia. There we go. I said maybe it was a weak B. I think that's the official thing there, but maybe there is a harder B. Antonio, who is Spanish, about the pronunciation of Spanish, Castilian Spanish, of course. Let's distinguish. Stuart just pronounces correctly Castellano. In Catalonian and Valencian language, those names are pronounced different. Exactly. I don't speak those languages, which is what I want to point out. Neither do the majority of people here in Spain. It's only a minority of people in Valencia speak Valenciano or Valenciano or whatever they call it. The rest of the population in the country of Spain do not. Nobody's interested in learning Valenciano. Nobody in Extremadura is interested in learning Catalan. It's the way that it is. They're happy with the language that they speak. Although a couple more years with the current government and things might change. Let's have a look. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Suzanne studied a lot of languages, and no matter how long I speak any of them, I sound like an American cowboy. My husband finds it cute. So that's how I've learnt to accept it. You can't get rid of the accent, Suzanne. You're always going to speak a foreign language with an accent if you learn it late in life. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's incorrect the way that you speak. You don't have a local accent. Accents are quite varied. People in the north of Spain speak with an accent. People in the south of Spain speak with a different accent. Foreigners that come here speak with a different accent. It's the way it is. The way it is. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look here. Carmen saying that her brain goes into automatic mode in each language. When speaking in English, Barcelona comes out with the S sound. In Spanish, I use the th sound. And then when I go into Gallego, it's yes, thanks for that, Carmen. That is true. I think that's the way. Brad saying 16:9 is the best ratio, but HD's 1920 to 1080, which will only have a small crop to suit. Thanks, Brad, for that. Well, I think the government is trying, Moon, to do something about the squatters, albeit quite slowly. A lot of people could argue that government policy has increased it in recent times. But again, that's an argument for another day. Thanks for that. Alex loves the linguistic and cultural differences at a wedding with folk from Peru recently. No conejo on the menu, but no, what's that? Cuy either. Tolerance of differences is a must, absolutely. Gallegos, what Carmen wanted to say, some pseudo-Portuguese. Dr. Andres coming in from beautiful South Florida. What else we got going on? Janet saying that her son-in-law might be depressed about the rain, doesn't like it. Brad saying that where they are, not depressed at all. Maybe the rain is nature's way of helping Spain with the tourism issue. Maybe that is the case. Don't know. Could be. We got a comeback on the Harley Davidsons there for Brad from El Conquistador down there in Florida. Never seen the Harley Davidson motorcycles, the ones that El Conquistador has. Philip, the author of the photo that I have behind me, thanks for using it. You're welcome, Philip. Thanks for sending it through. James likes the put-downs. I try to keep them to a minimum, James, but sometimes people, get your goat, as they say, like Cliff did. Clifton. What else we got going on here? Yanis is coming in from Brooklyn. We'll catch up later. What else? Let's have a look. Here quickly. I'll just scroll through if I can. There and there, silly homonyms. Thanks for the videos. Yeah, plenty of examples in the English language, Carrie. I can understand that it's difficult for people learning the language as a second language, but people that have grown up with the English language shouldn't be making simple mistakes like that. But again, I'll put it down to a typo and give young Cliff the benefit of the doubt. YouTubers, English lessons from an Aussie down under. Speak English the same as everyone, YouTubers, as well as an English person, as well as a person from the States, Canada, South Africa. We all speak the same language. We all speak it equally. It's our native language, our native tongue, as they say, our mother tongue, YouTubers. We don't give lectures. Doesn't matter where you're from. You can be from Australia. You can be from New Zealand. We speak the language. It's as simple as that. Upcycled copycat. Since many are boycotting everything and anything, it's been very nice to finally get some lemons or produce from Spain. I always give it if my way. What's that? Give it if my way to get Spanish olive oil and wine. On the way, I suppose that is the case. Thanks for that, Upcycle. Yeah, lots of people boycotting, I believe, some products at the moment, especially the Canadians, of course, not happy with what's going on with their neighbour to the south, but we'll avoid that conversation today because some people get worked up. Simpaticaism, my local mountain village cuts up the words so badly I still can't understand half of what they say. Granada area I understand far easier, likewise when in Madrid. There we go. So probably the locals, the way they speak to each other, of course, cutting the ends of words off in parts of Spain, in southern Spain, I should say. The cuy is a guinea pig. In diets differ. I might try to, if I go to Peru. Currently, I'll stick to rabbit as more familiar to me. I've heard in Peru the guinea pigs are eaten. Cuy, is it? I suppose that's the word there. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. And Ken was in Vic yesterday in Catalonia. It was pretty wet up there. Vic is probably a place where they do say Barcelona, given that it is a nationalist stronghold in Catalonia. And Charlie in the chat, here a bit late, lo siento, no problems. And sometimes autocorrect changes to there or there. Yeah, but again, if you're going to write something, always a good idea to check it before you start with the insults. Not your case, Marianne, of course, but referring to Cliff. Now I'm going to wrap the live stream up there. It's been a pleasure as always. I'll be back again on Sunday, I believe, for the next one. Hope to see you guys then. Until Sunday, hasta luego, hasta entonces. Until then, adios and bye-bye.